Quite a few fly fishermen mistakenly call scuds freshwater shrimp. Scuds actually reside in the order Amphipoda, just kissing cousins to true shrimp. The scuds themselves don't seem to mind the mix-up, and neither should we. Backcasts will discuss imitating and fishing scuds a lot. The name scud comes from the creature's quickly darting movements as they scramble under the surface. All this exuberant movement helps scuds dodge predators. To scud under sail is to move swiftly before a gale. I just learned that the blowing foam at the crest of waves is called scud. These evasive acrobatics are vital, since scuds are a favored high-protein food for trout. Where you find scuds, you'll find fast-growing fish, often big ones. This time, the focus is on one especially important fly pattern, the Trueblood otter shrimp. Ted Trueblood was a hook and bullet magazine hero of my youth. The very first fish that I ever caught on a fly, well, one not also tipped with a salmon egg, came to a Trueblood otter shrimp. In the July 1979 issue of Field and Stream, Trueblood, his real surname, described the evolution and final configuration of his otter shrimp. Eventually I came up with a pattern I'm still using. It catches trout wherever there are shrimp and in a lot of places where there aren't any. The body is pale otter belly fur with a little white hair seal mixed in. It provides a bit of glint. I spin the dubbing on Nymo, color 2042. The throat hackle and tail are partridge. Nymo color 2042 is officially called sand. Ted described it as the color of coffee with too much cream in it. There are probably lots of suitable substitutes for the thread, but darn few writers craft such a crystal clear description. Ted tied his shrimp in sizes 6 down to 12s on straight shank, extra heavy wire, wet fly / nip hooks. Nowadays a 12 is about as large as you'll find one. I split thread dub when using Nymo now, which allows for tying these smaller flies. Back when we used to read books for fly tying information instead of looking at a screen like you're doing right now, Trueblood's effective fly pattern was displayed several places. Randall Kaufman called the fly the Trueblood shrimp in his influential pattern book. Terry Hellickson went with Trueblood shrimp nymph, sometimes called otter nymph. He suggested replacing the seal with a cream-colored synthetic. Float tube pioneer Marv Taylor reasonably called the fly the Trueblood otter shrimp. Marv noted that it was his fallback pattern when he knew that the trout were eating scuds. Ted himself called his fly the otter shrimp because of its prime ingredient. Back in the pre-synthetic olden times, we were of the opinion that fur from aquatic mammals made the very best dubbing. Beaver, muskrat, mink, otter, and a couple species we don't mention out loud anymore, hair seal and polar bear. River otters are the cutest of that group. Back in the very early 70s, I ran into a man on the Henry's Fork. He was a Princeton graduate who had made enough money in the Mad Men advertising era to build a house on a place upstream from the Riverside campground, specifically so he could watch otters play there in the winter. We should all be so lucky. Otters' non-stop antics can get them in trouble. This huge river otter from Parson, BC got trapped accidentally through such misadventure. In his book, Lake Fly Fishing Strategies, Bob Sheedy describes a method that he used that exploited their curiosity to trap river otters in the winter. Bob confessed some regrets about using their playful antics against them. Thanks to other trappers, otter on the hide is available through most fly tying suppliers. It comes in several shades. I've acquired way too much otter. Be sure to keep the guard hairs in when you mix up blends. These fibers make believable representation of the busy appendages on the bottom of scuds. the gnathopods, periopods, pleopods, uropods that spell scud to human beings, and maybe trout. Lots of synthetics are available now to add that glint that Ted got from that pinch of seal. And talking glint, instead of using thread, you might dub between some strands of crystal flash. Root beer color, for example. Just a thought. Quoting Ted again. Before we had good sinking lines, I tied unweighted shrimp with blackheads and weighted shrimp with green. I used it for about 15 years, but now I'm back to black. I think maybe the blackheads make the fly a bit better. I personally just switched to black thread or black beads for the heads on most scuds. Add a tiny bit of green to the dubbing also. That bit of ancient secret wisdom was revealed in an earlier episode. Final words from Ted. I spent 3 or 4 years developing this fly, but I've been catching fish on it for 25. And during the development period, every time I came up with a new shrimp idea, there was excitement in tying it. This kind of experimentation is fun. For me, at least, it adds a lot of pleasure to the sport of fishing. Us too, Ted.